It's the best time of the year again, the NBA Finals. The perfect time to begin watching basketball, the two best teams and best players going at it for the championship. But not everyone is a die-hard NBA fan that will watch the Pistons play the Magic on a Saturday night, and that's fine. But with the NBA diversifying and growing so many new stars, it might be daunting to try and get into the NBA. Well, I'm here to make things easier for you, so stick around, because it's going to be a great finals. So, first of all, the NBA Finals isn't like any other final in sports. It's the first team to 4 wins. But before that, the NBA playoffs split into the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. The winner of the West faces the winner of the East in the NBA Finals to determine who is the NBA champion. Pretty straightforward, right? Good. Now let's do some very basic history. The very first NBA Finals was all the way back in 1946, but even diehard fans couldn't care about that World War II ball. Basically, all you need to know is, no one cares about the 50s.
Thank you, Nabil.
The 60s was just Bill Russell and the Celtics beating Wilt Chamberlain every single year for about 12 years, winning 11 championships. Then the 70s. The 70s was the Great Depression for basketball, so let's not spend too much time here. Views and popularity were at an all-time low, forgettable teams and stars like the Bullets and Blazers won championships. Sorry. The only interesting part of the 70s was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar winning a championship for the Bucks in 71, and the other American basketball league, the ABA, merging with the NBA in 1976. So let's move on to an actually good era. The 80s. I can guarantee that almost every single person on the earth knows either the Boston Celtics or the LA Lakers. That is because of the 80s. 8 out of the 10 champions in the 80s were either the Celtics or the Lakers. It's what made the NBA what it is today. The Larry Bird vs Magic Johnson rivalry blew the NBA up, from an average of 7 million viewers of the finals in the 70s, all the way up to 25 million people watching the 87 finals. I also should probably mention the bad boy Pistons. They dominated the late 80s and early 90s, beating a young Jordan in back-to-back years in the Eastern Finals. Now the 90s. Well, this is going to be quick. In 1990, the Pistons won, then Jordan won in 91, 92, 93. Jordan then got bored and went to go play baseball, so the NBA was a bloodbath for 2 years, but Hakeem Olajuwon and the Rockets won in back-to-back years in 94 and 95. Then Jordan said he's back, another Jordan three-peat in 96, 97, 98. Jordan then rode off into the sunset, we're going to ignore the Washington days. Then an already elite Spurs team drafted a top 5 player ever in Tim Duncan and won in 99. Now the 2000s. Now this is an interesting one. There's a lot of filler rings. Shaq and Kobe would start the decade off with a three-peat, then the Spurs would win one, then the Pistons defensive super team won in 2004, then the Spurs again in 2005, then in 06, Dwayne Wade, a young Heat superstar, solo squadded everyone. This is an important thing to remember for these finals, as there's a lot of parallels there. 2007 was the Spurs team beating a young LeBron, then 2008 was the iconic Celtics Big Three versus Kobe, also a Celtic versus Lakers final. In 2009 we were so close to getting Kobe versus Bron, but we ended up getting a Lakers versus Magic finals, with Kobe and the Lakers winning. Bringing us into the 2010s. In 2010, Kobe would repeat, leading the Lakers to beat the Celtics, forever etching him into NBA history. 2011. Also a very important one. An old Dirk Nowitzki on his own beat Kobe in the Western Finals and then LeBron in the Finals. Unanimously the greatest championship run ever, for now. More on that later though. In 2012 and 13, LeBron and the Heat repeated with LeBron winning his first rings. Also in 2013 was the greatest shot in NBA history.
Oh, rebound Bosh, back out to Allen, his three-pointer, bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining!
2014, the Spurs got their revenge. Then 2015 would begin a new era, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Steph Curry and the Warriors. They would dominate the Western Conference. Their new style of basketball was exhilarating. 30-foot threes after 30-foot threes. They would match up with LeBron James in the finals as he returned to his hometown team, the Cavaliers. The Warriors would win, but the Cavs were super injured. 2016. Arguably the best finals ever. The Warriors would win a record-setting 73 games that year, but they would blow a 3-1 lead to LeBron James and the Cavs in the finals. Unanimously the best Game 7 in NBA history, the best block ever, and one of the best shots ever.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup, oh, blocked by James! Irving and Curry, one-on-one, Irving puts it up, it's good! Kyrie Irving from downtown!
2017 and 18 are dark years for basketball fans. We don't like to admit they existed. KD joined the 73-win Warriors team, and no other team in the league stood a chance for 2 years. But in 2019, the Warriors were super injured, and Kawhi played some of the best basketball in playoff history and won the only Canadian team in the league their first championship. In 2020, a certain virus shut everything down. The Lakers and LeBron would win a championship against a Jimmy Butler-led Heat team in the finals. Also important to remember this. 2021 was a really weird year actually. KD's toe was too big, so the Bucks went to the finals. Giannis would then cement himself as an all-time great, dropping 50 points against the Suns to win it all in a Game 6. Then this brings us to last year. The Warriors would cement themselves as an all-time dynasty. Curry beat a young Celtics team to win his 4th championship. And now, that's your quick-ish history lesson done. Let's talk about the 2023 finals now. So first, the 2 teams. The Denver Nuggets led by Nikola Jokic and the Miami Heat led by Jimmy Butler. Let's start with the latter. They should not be here. Like seriously, they barely made the playoffs. In fact, they were 1 loss away from not making it at all. Jimmy Butler promised he would make it here after losing the Eastern Conference Finals last year though.
Next year, we will have enough and we're going to be right back in the same situation and we're going to get it done.
That's the kind of guy he is. In the first round, Jimmy Butler played insane and beat the number 1 seed led by Giannis. Next, they made easy work of the New York Knicks in the second round, and then just last round in the Eastern Finals, they faced the Boston Celtics, a rematch of the year prior. Despite going to Game 7, the Heat initially took a 3-0 lead and won fairly comfortably in said Game 7. This team is only the second number 8 seed ever to make the finals. They keep defying the odds. A call back to what I said earlier, if Jimmy Butler manages to win this championship, in my opinion, it is the greatest run of all time. And then their opponents, the Denver Nuggets. These 2 teams are polar opposites in terms of how their season went. It literally couldn't have gone more differently. The Nuggets were consistently the best team in the world this year. They ran through the Western Conference, beating the Wolves in 5 games in the first round, then beating KD and the Suns in 6 games in the second round, and then they swept LeBron James and the Lakers to make the finals. Jokic is arguably the best player in the world right now, and probably should have won his 3rd MVP in a row this year. This is the Nuggets' first time ever in the finals, and their young core of Jokic, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. have been plagued by injury for years, and now with everyone healthy, they have finally made the run to the finals. These teams also have a bit of history, after Jokic slamming into a former Heat player last season, with Jimmy Butler wanting to fight him.
And Jokic, no!
So, who should you root for? Well, both are good bets. The Nuggets play truly beautiful basketball, and Jokic is a once-in-a-generation talent, like he really is. He doesn't make sense. He's a 7-footer who's arguably the best passer of the ball ever. And the Miami Heat, on the other hand, they're all hustle and grind culture. They aim to defy the odds over and over again. They have something like 12 undrafted players or something in their roster. It's ridiculous. And Jimmy Butler is the epitome of all of that. He's often described as the closest thing mentality-wise we have to Michael Jordan in today's NBA. And well, who's going to win? To be honest, it's hard to tell. The first thing we aren't going to do is count out the Heat, because the Bucks, Celtics and Knicks all did that and they're eliminated right now. So the Nuggets have to be locked in from the jump. They can't afford to lose a Game 1. But I think the Nuggets will be locked in, to be fair. The real keys for the Nuggets are to make sure Jimmy Butler can't get the same looks multiple times a night. They have to make it tricky for him. Aaron Gordon's going to be huge for that. Another major problem for the Heat is how do they guard Jamal Murray? Do they put Jimmy on him? I think they're probably going to have to, but that's really going to tire out Jimmy. Also, Michael Porter Jr.'s matchup is going to be super important. I don't really know who can guard him on the Heat, and if you let that man get going, he's going to kill you. That is something the Heat are going to have to be very careful about. I'm also interested to see how well the Heat role players will play. Guys like Caleb Martin played insane in the Eastern Conference Finals, so he's going to have to keep that up in the finals if the Heat want to win. I think the Heat should also try and eliminate Jokic's playmaking by forcing him to score. This isn't necessarily a recipe for success, because Jokic is more than capable of dropping 50, but I think the Nuggets are damn near unbeatable when Jokic is in his playmaking mode and facilitating. To be honest, I think the Nuggets are more than capable of winning the series and the championship in 5 or 6 games, but you really can't count out Jimmy Butler in this Heat team, and basketball is more than just stats. Sometimes teams just defy the odds over and over again, and it looks like the Heat might be like that, and you know Jimmy is going to show up with some just ridiculous performances, so the Nuggets have to be careful. Regardless, it's going to be a great finals, so make sure to tune in. Who do you think will win? Comment below, and if you enjoyed the video, let me know, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.